Let's try that intro again. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We have got live tournament action coming at you right now on GSL's Crevasse ShOoTER versus MuffinMan. We're going to be watching Protoss versus Zerg. So something a little different here on Crevasse. That's always nice. ShOoTER going to be spawning as our orange Protoss here in the bottom left-hand corner. Top left, we are going to find MuffinMan spawning as the purple Zerg. Pretty solid. Looking good. And a scout going out here for ShOoTER, immediately headed in the incorrect direction. It does appear. We shall see. Where's he going? I can't really tell. Oh no, he's going in the right direction. Lucky him. So he will be scouting his opponent here in just a moment, and MuffinMan going to be headed in the incorrect direction with that Overlord. We'll see if that's going to come into play here. And here comes the scout. What you gonna find, buddy? He is going to see a gas going down, as well as drones mining minerals. Unbelievable. That was a joke. It just wasn't very funny. So we are going to have him cruising around this map, or I mean the base here of MuffinMan for just a moment. Excuse me, I've got a cough today. And here comes the drone from MuffinMan. He is going to head in the correct direction here as well, so lucky him. Going to come up this ramp and see that we are going to be working on a wall, and gateway going to be going down here. We do have another pylon here in the back next to the necks. Looks pretty solid. Gateway is complete. We need to see a cyber core any moment. Anytime, buddy. Unless he's not going to be going for warp gate tech, I guess. Which is possible. Still no cyber core. Interesting. There's a cyber core. That's the cyber core we all know and love. Looks like MuffinMan going to be hiding up here on the high ground. Maybe? Nope, no he's not. He's coming back down. And we do have a Zealot here for the block. Looks pretty good. No expand from MuffinMan quite yet. Looks like he's going to be trying to put on some early pressure. Kind of a one-base build here for just a moment. Oh, here we go. Here's an expand coming. I can feel it in my bones. Almost misplaced there. There we go. That's the right spot for it. Cybernetics core probably going to be working on warp gate tech here eventually. So ShOoTER's timing seemed just slightly off, just a little bit today. I'm thinking maybe not. Maybe it's a different build order that I'm just not used to, but just seemed a little strange, like a little bit behind in a couple spots. However, he is taking a fairly early expansion here, so maybe that's why. He's just kind of setting things up the way that he wants. He's going to be taking a second gas right now. Oh, and one thing I do want to point out about this map, GSL's Crevasse, this mini expand up here in your base only has 6 mineral patches, so you can't. Got to be careful not to oversaturate it. And on this particular version, this is SE, Crevasse SE, or no. Is it SE? I can't remember, but whatever version, in this particular version that we use, it does not have a rich Vespene geyser up here on the high ground, so it's always good to keep that in mind. There are some versions that do have a rich Vespene geyser up here, but not on this one. This is the official version, so I just can't remember the name of it. I think they added some letters at the end or something. Twilight Council going down here for ShOoTER. Looks like we probably are going to see DT Tech, I'm guessing. He's going to be mining a lot of gas here. Either that or storms. So high temps, but we do have... Oh no, he's going for Blink. Interesting. So ShOoTER does have Blink on the way right now. And here comes the scout from MuffinMan. Do you know the MuffinMan? That's the question. And it does not matter to this stalker. He's like, I don't know you, buddy, but I'm going to shoot you. And so he is going to be trying to take out this Overlord before he goes down here to see the Twilight Counts. Looks like he is going to be able to do that. Indeed, the Overlord about to die. Good night. Lights out. The expand here for MuffinMan looks to be up and running pretty stinking solid. Good stuff there. We do have Evo Chamber on the main here. Does have melee attack level 1, so might be sticking with Ling here for just a little while. Potentially even going for some Banelings. We'll see if that's the case. He's going to be working on his lair here, so might be going for some lair tech. Maybe he's going to do kind of a Ling, Baneling, Mutalisk play. Either that or he could be going for Infestors. We'll see what he's got going here in just a moment. But it's 8 minutes into the game, so he probably is going to want to gear up for an expand here if he is going to continue to tech. Otherwise, he may actually be going for a Baneling bust and just put down his Baneling nest at the last moment right before he needs it, which is always a good idea. MuffinMan did scout this movement out across the map, knows to start to prepare for that. It did take out all of these rocks here. No choke here any longer. And here comes movement from ShOOTeR. Is he going to push this attack? That's the question. We do have double spine crawlers going down here. We have a lot of Lings. But, I mean, looking here at ShOOTeR's army, I mean, he's got a good amount of Zealots. As long as he keeps this army together, he should be okay for a little bit of damage here. I mean, I think MuffinMan probably going to be able to hold here, but... Ooh, good blink micro there. Blinking these stalkers back. Did some damage, but I just don't think it was terribly cost effective. You can see that, look at that. He's actually quite a bit behind. Well over 1,000 resources difference there. Brutal, brutal, brutal. And MuffinMan going to be counting, or preparing for a counterattack here, it looks like. Are we going to have a Zergling run by, though? I think we are. Oh, my goodness. He could just run right up into this base right now. ShOOTeR has got to consider that possibility. He needs to be blocking this little spot here. There he goes. There he goes. That's what I like to see. Looks like plenty of Zealots here for just a moment. MuffinMan looking to have to back out here for just a moment. But did get the infestation pit. Does have 4 infestors cruising out across the field. Is ShOOTeR going to be able to defend this? He's got a lot of Zealots. Probably could get Charge up at this point. Charge is going to be super, super effective. But it is costly. 200 for that one. Robotics going down right now for ShOOTeR. He is going on solid 3 base right now. Well, this one's only a half base, so 2.5 base. But here comes the attack again from MuffinMan. MuffinMan looking to get aggressive here, and I like that quite a bit. Oh, Fungal going down. Brutal chain Fungals. Got to love it. All these poor Zealots getting trapped in there. Not going to happen. Those guys are stuck and about to die. Looks like ShOOTeR going to be able to hold on here, though. But the cost seems pretty great. Look at this. Almost twice the resources lost. Actually, it is twice the resources lost of his opponent there. Brutal, brutal, brutal. So ShOOTeR does have a little bit of ground to make up. Units tab is going to show that he has got a slight Harvester advantage, but not by very much. He has stayed on top of his economy, so that's very nice, but he has definitely lost more units. Got to make something happen. Maybe either defensively, needs to tech up potentially. Let's see what he's got. Yep, Robotics Bay. Probably could have guessed that. I think this DPS is exactly what he needs to go for at this point. He did get out a Observer here. Looks like he's going to send that over to his opponent's base here in just a moment. And the Robotics Facility going to start working on some Colossus here in just a moment. Oh, this attack here from MuffinMan looking really solid. His Blink Stalker's doing a lot of work just to stay alive. Uh-oh, blinking down to the wrong spot. Brutal. Now these guys are out of position. Do have a good amount of photon cannons here. just don't have the stalkers. That's the problem. But look at this. He did split his opponent's army here. These stalkers did just get some kills up there. Looking like MuffinMan going to have to back out here for just a second. Here come the roaches. Now I'd like to see ShOoTER try and put a little bit of pressure on those roaches, if at all possible. But that's okay. Not bad choice either, just to play it safe. And here we go, a little bit of a harass. Going straight to the mineral line, it looks like. Not going to make it. Intercepted here by Zerglings. A little bit of a loss there for ShOoTER. Probably want to warp those guys in just a little closer. But it's tough. I mean, look at this. Creep spread is really good by MuffinMan right now. Look at this. ShOoTER going to be taking another base. I like it. Staying really aggressive with his economy. I think is the right move at this point. Trying to take this to late game. He knows he probably is extremely comfortable with his late game play. Wants to take this to late game as quickly as possible. Does have some Colossus out. This DPS is just going to be phenomenal for him. He does have weapons level 1 on the way, as well as extended thermal lance. Actually, extended thermal lance about to complete. More Colossus on the way. Now, the one thing that is scary to me about going straight to late game, though, is he's got to be mindful of allowing his opponent to go for Broodlords without him having the correct answer to it. And a lot of the times it is not Blink Stalkers. I mean, those can be super effective, but a lot of the times you really have to have Void Rays to be able to deal with it. But it depends on your unit composition for your other units aside from your Stalkers. I mean, and positioning. If you can get your Stalkers into position with that Blink, great. But so many Zerg these days are so defensive, so good at taking care of their Broodlords that it's just can be difficult. But a nice looking army here for ShOoTER in the center of the map. We did have the Silnaga Tower taken by MuffinMan for just a moment, so you could see the entire size of that army, which was a nice looking play there. These Zerglings do have +1/+1 complete. Looks like we are about to run by. Indeed we are. Zerglings not getting tons of damage done there, but they did do a little. They did get some good scouting information. Did see this Nexus here, so we are now on 4 bases here for ShOoTER. But ShOoTER going to be taking a forward position here yet again. Does not have Zealot legs. I actually would like to see him with Zealot legs, I think, at this point, since he does have a pretty hefty Zealot investment. Oh my goodness, look at this. He's going to be taking this forward position. That is phenomenal. And here he goes, going to be cruising into his opponent's base here. Do have a Greater Spire on the way. Wants to get this done before Greater Spire is there. That is for sure. Blink stocks being used there. Pretty nice stuff. The DPS from the Colossus doing a lot of damage here. However, it looks like MuffinMan may be able to clean this up pretty good. Oh, wow. Indeed. Is cleaning that up. Those roaches with the +1/+2. Really, really solid there. And this expand completely denied. ShOoTER in just a little bit of trouble here, I think. I mean, he's definitely got the right idea, but my goodness, that defense for MuffinMan is looking really, really solid. These Colossus, whoa, get control of your screen there, Johnny. Colossus trying to be pesky. Did see the Broodlords here, though. Knows that he's going to have to deal with those here in just a second. That is going to be tough to do. Ladies and gentlemen, this army for MuffinMan just looking phenomenal. Do have a lot of Blink Stalkers here. They still only have +1/+1. Ooh, good Blink there, and he didn't commit all of them. I really like that, especially because of these Infestors. I think was a really, really smart move. And good control there by ShOoTER. Did take down one of those Broodlords. Every single brood he can take down is a solid win there. Let's take a look. Units lost, however, is going to show that ShOOTER in a lot of trouble. And more Colossus on the way. Oh, wow. This is just going to be tough. I mean, this unit composition here for MuffinMan is really solid. Broodlords are just going to be so tough to deal with, especially with the Infestors, who can just deal with those Stalkers so quickly. Going to be tough, but I do like the amount of Colossus that he has. I think this is a wise move here. It looks like he has got a maxed out army here for just a moment. Going to be cruising out across the map. Looks like he might want to put a little bit of pressure on his opponent here yet again. See what he's got for us. Trying to get these broods in position. MuffinMan definitely wanting to defend here, so this is kind of interesting. Actually, really what he wants to do is take out this entire army and counterattack. Is probably what he's thinking more than that. A lot of damage being dealt here. These Blink Stalkers getting up to the high ground. Not bad. Oh, but there's so many broods on the field. These guys are just so difficult to deal with. And ShOOTER going to be trying to deny this expand here. I like this play. This is not bad. I mean, this army essentially is not going to be able to get away at this point. So might as well do some damage here. And economic damage is the order of the day. One more shot! Oh, so close to not be able to get that one down, but he did indeed. I think that was actually a really good job there by ShOOTER to get the snipe on that hatch. That is going to put his opponent stuck on 3 base right now. Look at this. Rebuilding this immediately here for MuffinMan is really what he's got to do, but his main is about mined out here. This little natural up here about mined out. This base not looking too hot either, really, when it comes down to it. You can see some of these patches getting pretty low. And ShOOTER has been able to stay on a couple more mining base than his opponent almost the entire game, so that's nice, and he is securing another expand here. Here come the broods, though. Now, this is where it's going to be difficult for ShOOTER to deal with. He's got to have an answer to these broods, and I'm really thinking Void Rays is about the only thing he's going to be able to do at this point. And we just don't have any air. So this expand here about to go down. ShOOTER just doesn't really have an answer for it. Look at this. MuffinMan backing out. I'm wondering why. He almost got the snipe on that Nexus. Here we go. He's going to try again. Oh my goodness, that Nexus has 3 HP left. Nice blink here. Trying to keep these Broodlords out of the way. Trying to deal with them as quickly as he can. Does get the snipe on 2 there, but that just may not be enough. Does he have another blink potentially in here to try and deal with these broods? There's so many broods right now for him to deal with. Oh, and here comes the Zerglings. Looks like this attack for MuffinMan going to be pushing forward here. Not a bad position if you are MuffinMan. ShOOTER does have a supply disadvantage now. Just struggling to get the right unit composition to deal with this army of MuffinMan. And look at this, 5 broods still wailing away here. Did deny this expand, so that was actually good. This has bought MuffinMan some time to get back in this game economically. And he did secure his another base there up at the top corner there, or the top center, I should say. But, I mean, taking this base down was actually a fairly big loss here for ShOOTER. And now this movement here from this army going to be extremely scary. Just does not look like ShOOTER has an answer to the broods. This Broodlord Infestor combo is extremely powerful, and you've just got to have air, I think, to deal with it. got to be able to, get kind of a flank attack or a side attack or something like that on these Broodlords, if at all possible. And the Void Rays really can get that done. The Infestors are, they still present a problem, don't get me wrong, but your ground army can deal with the Infestors pretty good as long as the Void Rays can get in range of those Broodlords, then it can be fairly effective. Oh my goodness, look at this. MuffinMan building a Nexus in the center of the map. And ShOOTER definitely in a little bit of trouble here. Looks like MuffinMan backing up here. He's going to mass together another death ball. Probably toss most of it into this Nidus Worm, and it looks like we may be seeing some Nidus action here in just a moment. More broods on the field. Brutal, brutal, brutal stuff. Now, the one nice thing I can say for ShOOTER right now in this is that he's really stayed on top of his expanding. Yes, he lost this big expand, and that was a big loss. But he's got 2 more bases up and running pretty good, and that's staying on par with MuffinMan, who's actually just barely getting this one started. So he's actually not doing too badly when it comes down to it. And this moment here, MuffinMan kind of giving him a little bit of time to get himself back into this game. And if he is able to do that, that could be problematic here for MuffinMan. Here come the broods again, and this is the trouble now, is yet again we just have this army from MuffinMan that doesn't really counter the broods at all. Archons just cannot get into range. Oh, it's so brutal. Even with that buff, the Archon's range is now 3 since that one patch a couple months back. Just not enough though, and it looks like MuffinMan about to take this win down. Lucky for ShOOTER, it is going to be best of 3, so we'll probably be going into game 2 here in just a moment, but pretty brutal, what can I say? Well, those Archons dealing pretty good damage there. Nice work. Uh-oh, and this is the real trouble. And there's the GG from ShOOTER. Saw those guys headed that way, his economy about to die. And that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. ShOOTER will have the map pick in game number 2. Don't alt-tab. Hey, don't alt-tab. Always out StarCraft. We will see you guys in just a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We are going into our semifinal match. Game 2 of this, actually, is the semifinal match here between ShOOTER and MuffinMan. ShOOTER did lose game number 1, so the pressure is on. It is just a best of 3 at this point. But he's got to take this down 2 games in a row now if he wants to get into the finals. MuffinMan right now in a commanding position, up 1 game to his opponent. He's going to be spawning as our green Zerg over here in the top right. I think I know my left from right. I do believe this is right. If not, that is my best guess. And ShOOTER is going to be spawning in the top left. That I can tell you for sure. So, yeah. There's the pylon from ShOOTER. Looks like he's going to be sending out a scout here in just a moment. Got to find his OPP. And there is the spawning pool for MuffinMan. No super fast expand here. Actually, an extremely fast spawning pool. So that's kind of interesting. And unluckily for ShOOTER, he is going to be headed in the incorrect direction for his scouting. Going to have to defend probably a pretty solid Zergling rush here at his mineral line. That is about to be brutal, ladies and gentlemen. You can see MuffinMan now trying to find his opponent. We do have a spawning pool on the map. Production tab shows 6 Zerglings in the queue. Ugly stuff, that's for sure. And right now, ShOOTER not knowing what is headed his way. Looks like the Zergling's headed to the far cross position here. However, that is not where his opponent is. This is going to be lucky break here for ShOoTeR for just a moment. Is he going to have time to get out enough Zealots to deal? That is the question, ladies and gentlemen. He's starting to work on a wall in here, going for some gas. Interesting. Now all the Zerglings rerouted. This wall in not going to be complete here. But oh wait, actually it is! Is this Zealot going to get there in this clutch moment? Oh my goodness. Oh, get him back in there. Oh, there we go. ShOoTER's like, heck yeah. Got to get this guy under control. Poor Zealot. Oh, we do have some clutch units coming in here to block. Is this Zealot going to get there in time? Oh my goodness, you've got to love that. Extremely well done defense there from ShOoTER. Oh, it's phenomenal. Really, really quite like that. And now he is going to have an economic advantage. The trouble here for MuffinMan is he is going to be behind. He's got to either make this attack stick or make something else happen. Trying to take down that Cybernetics core, trying to do some damage. Not going to happen. ShOoTER going to be able to scoot these guys in and out of that base. Looks like we do have a probe here going to be putting down a forward pylon, I assume. Let's take a look at what else we've got. Chrono boosts continuing to go down right now for Zealots. Zealots going to be super effective at keeping these guys out of that base. And the expand here for MuffinMan going down. Let's check units tab for just a moment. Oh my goodness, MuffinMan still at 11 drones. That is ugly, ladies and gentlemen. And look at this. ShOoTER going to be taking a base of his own. Does have this probe still out in that proximity position. But he is going to be gearing up here mostly for some teching up. It looks like at least he's going to get 2 base down. I like how quickly ShOoTER expands. He really likes to macro up, which is interesting to see from Protoss players, especially against Zerg. A lot of the times you'll see Protoss just try and take it down. Their units tend to be just a little bit more cost effective sometimes, especially in the early and mid games, than the Zerg units, and they try and take it down relatively early sometimes. But interesting play from ShOoTER. He seems to really favor his macro game, which I like. I like that quite a bit. And he does have, let's see, a forge going down as well. Looks like he's working on a little bit of a wall in here for just a moment. MuffinMan going to be droning up here. He's up to 17 drones right now. ShOoTER slowed down his probe production just for a moment there, but looks like he's back on top of it now. Now has got double capacity for probe production. We do have a Roach Warren here for MuffinMan. That's going to be pretty stinking helpful. Nice map control for MuffinMan. We do have to give that to him. But ShOoTER going to be in an extremely commanding position now. Let's take a look. Oh, look at this, though. MuffinMan catching up in the harvester count. Wow. That's nice. Look at that. He's almost even now. So ShOoTER kind of giving him a little bit of leeway there. I really would have liked to have seen ShOoTER continuing to chrono boost out probes as soon as that attack from MuffinMan sort of went to the background, but he is definitely playing it safe here. But look at this, he's wasting a chrono boost here. I'd like to see him queuing those probes up just a little bit better. And now MuffinMan actually passing him in the harvester count, but we do have movement, and ShOoTER is going to have an army advantage at this point. So the defense here for MuffinMan is going to be critical. Looks like he's going to toss down a couple spine crawlers. Is this going to be enough? I do not know. But ShOoTER's window is definitely right before these spine crawlers complete. Got to get in there like right now. And here he comes. Pulling drones to defend here. Nice looking attack. ShOOTER doing a lot of damage. Ripping through those drones like they're not even there. My goodness. Just like an Ultralisk through a force field. Those Zealots went right through those drones. Did a lot of economic damage there, and then ShOOTER backs out immediately. Look at your units tab, putting MuffinMan down to 14 drones, and now ShOOTER in an extremely commanding position economically with 40 drones, or probes rather, and going to be continuing to macro up here. He does have +1 on the way, as well as Blink. That's going to be super effective. Oh, we do have some LIR tech. Looks like MuffinMan might be going for, I'd probably guess at this point, I'm going to guess either a Spire or a straight for some Infestors, potentially off 2 base. It's going to be tough either way, but actually he doesn't have enough gas quite yet. He's got to keep droning up. So we'll see what he's going to do. Here comes the attack from MuffinMan. Not going to happen. He saw way too many Zealots to deal with. Did not make him happy, that's for sure. Here come the Zealots cruising out across here. Going to try and hunt these Zerglings down. These Blink Stalkers going to be cruising around here, taking care of the Xel'Naga Towers. Nice control by ShOOTER. He's really working on his map control right now. Going to be blinding MuffinMan, which is going to be super important. He probably could go ahead and take this one down, but he is going to be securing his third here, so that's very, very nice for him at this point. Going to put him up a base, but the supply count, that is where the real disparity is right now, and MuffinMan's got a lot of ground to make up. So MuffinMan did take down game number 1, so he's probably feeling pretty good about that, but this changes everything. As soon as ShOOTER, if ShOOTER does end up winning this game, that means now the pressure on both players in game 3, and that is my favorite position to be in. So in a lot of ways, I am going to be rooting for ShOOTER in this game. Let's take it to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. That's my favorite thing to do. But MuffinMan going to be gearing up for an expand here. I like it. And we do have Roach speed on the way. We do have all the gas up now for MuffinMan on these 2 base. So he can tech just about anywhere he wants, I think, at this point. I mean, maybe his production won't be at full bore, but that's okay. I mean, he's got to do something, and that's the key here. Taking an expand here is going to be super helpful, but there's going to need to be just a little bit more here eventually. ShOOTER is just macroing up quite a bit. He's got a lot of Blink Stalkers on the map. Is going to be getting out an observer here in just a moment. We do have a robotics bay on the way, so Colossus will be in short order out on this map. That'll make all you Protoss players happy. And ShOOTER massing up an army at this moment. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, he's walled out of his base. He thought he could get through there, however he cannot. Oh, it's because he's got a Zealot on hold position there. Look at that. Let's see, what's the twist? There they are. See that Zealot there? That's why he can't get out. Mr. Zealot, you silly guy. Long distance mining here for just a second. MuffinMan's got to get that one going. This main still has got a decent amount of minerals in it. So he's going to be on a fairly secure 3 base now for just a moment. Do have some Zerglings kicking it out here in the back, just to guard to see if there's anything happening. ShOOTER is going to see this expand. Wonder if he's going to try and put some pressure on it. Denying this expand would really cost MuffinMan the game at this point. So we might see that. He's got a very, very large army. See a bunch of Stalkers here. Throng of Stalkers here. And some good old-fashioned Zealots and Sentries in the mix as well. Gotta love it. And here comes movement. Looks like ShOOTER has chosen his moment. This is going to be it. I think that he has got a big enough force at this point to take this down. MuffinMan going to be in a lot of trouble. defensive-wise at this point. He has got to have an answer to this. He does have an Infestor out on the field, which is going to be helpful, but he's going to need a couple more. Spire is on the way, but that looks like it is going to be too late to help defend this attack. And here comes the units. Guardian Shield going down here. Fungal growth, one fungal growth, and that is way too much to deal with. MuffinMan giving the quick GG there. Don't blame him. We're going to be going into game number 3. Woohoo! Love game 3s. MuffinMan will get map picks, so this will be interesting to see. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt tab. Always alt StarCraft. We will see you guys then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Snack. We have got live tournament action coming at you right now on Icy Cup Test Bug. I really like this map pick from MuffinMan. Quite a nice map. Good 3-player map, so that's always fun to see. And I think is an extremely well-balanced map. So MuffinMan going to be spawning as our orange. Zerg player in the top left. At the 3 o'clock position, ShOOTeR going to be spawning as our red. Protoss. Now these guys are 1 win each. This is it. This decides who will make it into the finals of tonight's Pro Let It Ride. ShOOTeR or MuffinMan got to take down this game immediately. Well, not that fast. We don't mind if it goes for a long game, but they definitely have to win here if they want to make it into the finals. And tonight's finals, my goodness, they're going to be phenomenal. I'm going to tell you who our other player is real quick. It's going to be Giraffe from Clan Sin, S-Y-N. He's a great player. I can't believe what he was able to pull off there against C. Calms. His timings were just impeccable. Really good stuff. And C. Calms is not easy to beat. Let it be said. So let it be written, so let it be done, or whatever. Right, but here comes the probe here. Looks like a wall-off type thing going on here for ShOOTeR. And, which is probably a good idea. MuffinMan is a Zerg player. Do have an extractor going down for MuffinMan. Is he going to be gearing up for a fast expand? He does have his Overlord going to be over here camping for vision here, which is always a good idea. Like to see players doing that. And, oh, spawning pool first. And ShOOTeR's gateway about to finish here. Probably going to be completing that wall in eventually. Wow, ShOOTeR drone or probing up pretty stinking hard right now. There goes the wall in. Does have the Zealot on the way. Another pylon going down here for ShOOTeR. Looks pretty solid so far. Pretty standard timings, except the cybernetics core seems just a little bit late. However, it's not super necessary in a PvZ in the first couple minutes to get that down so super fast. You don't really have to chrono boost out your warp gate tech like crazy train like you do in PvP. You just have to have it in PvP. But yeah, it looks like MuffinMan can be gearing up for an expand here. There goes the expand. And we do have metabolic speed boost already on the way here for MuffinMan. He's just mining his extractor right now with 1 drone. I like that he pulled those drones there. Uh-oh. We do have an extractor going down here in the main. Gonna take another. A little bit of back and forth. He is getting some good information out of that. Good intel. And ShOOTeR going to be taking an expand of his own. Cybernetics core. Warp gate techs continuing to be chrono boosted out here. Look at that Zealot trying to get out of there. He's like, watch out, man. These guys look like linebackers. Ooh, pretty beefy little guys. But here comes some Zerglings from MuffinMan. However, he's not going to be super happy here. Plenty of Zealots for defense. Nice looking wall off here from ShOoTER. It's going to make this very, very easy to defend, this little expand. So I'm liking that quite a bit. This expand here from MuffinMan up and running in pretty decent time. Units tab going to show that ShOoTER actually has the harvester advantage right now in a pretty decent way. So that's not bad. 29 to 21, pretty solid. And the expand is up and running for ShOoTER. Going to be mining off 2 base here for just a little while. Tech-wise, we do have roaches here for MuffinMan. Single gas still. And pulling drones off the gas yet again. Interesting. Going to be gearing up for a little bit of a roach attack here for just a moment. It's got quite a few Zerglings in tow. Let's check the units tab and see how many he's got. 16 Zerglings and 6 roaches. So not bad. We'll see how this defense is going to go. We do have a photon cannon. Looks like it's going to be a little bit late, especially if MuffinMan just pushes in here right away. However, there's a lot of Zealots here. These stalkers in the back are going to be super, super helpful. Nice control there by ShOoTER. Going to be keeping those Zerglings from getting a run by. Looks like ShOoTER is going to be able to clean this up in pretty decent style. Looks like MuffinMan gonna have to back out. Too much defense here from ShOoTER. I like how many stalkers he's got. Oh, he might be trying for another attack here. He's going to need to get some more Zealots in. Oh, this attack here from MuffinMan, this actually may stick here. That's a lot of Zerglings. He is trying to push this attack. It's going to come down to these roaches here. Oh, and don't get out too far. MuffinMan being extremely patient there, and looks like he did get his Zerglings in where he wanted to, but somehow ShOoTER still held on there. These double photon cannons here coming in pretty clutch, actually. A lot of damage being dealt by those. Look, that one's got 5, that one's got 4. Good amount of kills off those, so those photon cannons very well placed. Excuse me. Got my headset off just in time. But MuffinMan going to be transitioning. Does have a lot more gas on the way right now. Let's take a look and see if he's got any tech. Nothing much for... Oh, I see it on the production tab, but I don't see it on the map. Must be down here. There it is. Infestation pit it is. Going to see some infestors. ShOoTER is in pretty decent shape, though. Let's take a look at units lost. Very, very even there. Oh, ShOoTER just lost something that was pretty expensive. I think he canceled something. And some of that is from canceling the one there. This resource loss thing doesn't really work right. Blizzard's got to fix that, because when you cancel, sometimes it counts the whole thing on there. But you get a lot of your money back, so yeah, makes it different. But we do have a good amount of stalkers here. They do have blink complete. We got weapons level 1 on the way, so he's looking pretty solid there. This third here for MuffinMan, looking to go down here in pretty good time. Not bad timing here at all. Infestors on the way. We do have pathogen glands being researched. Looks pretty good. What can I say? And bro, oh goodness, that'll be tons of fun. Blink Stalkers looking to push the attack here for just a moment. Now MuffinMan is behind in the army size. Look at that. He doesn't have tons here. Really, these Stalkers could engage this with absolutely no trouble. I'd like to see him try and deny this expand. I think that'd probably be about the best thing that he could be doing. But another good thing is he is going to be gearing up for an expand of his own. So here's his third. Looks like he's got this pylon down. Probably going to put down a photon cannon, I would assume, right off the bat. And he is definitely going to need it. He does not want to have tunneling clawed infestors cruising into his base. Gateway, pylon, and photon cannons. Nice. good. So he will definitely be defending his bases there fairly well. I mean, it won't stop an attack of infested Terrans, but it definitely will help deny it a little bit. It won't be able to get him right into the mineral line to get all the probe kills. So, but that's good stuff. Good, really good stuff. A lot of blink stalkers here from ShOOTER. And MuffinMan responding with lots and lots of Zerglings and the Infestors. So that's going to be actually fairly effective combo against blink stalkers here for just a little while. We do have extended thermal lance on the way, so that means we're probably going to be seeing some Colossus. And there's one. Gotta love the Colossus. Let's take a look at the unit stat for just a moment. ShOOTER does have a pretty substantial harvester lead, so that's nice for him. Here comes some movement from MuffinMan. He's got a lot of Zerglings here. These guys, however, do not have any upgrades. Did see those Infestors. ShOOTER saw that, so knows that he's going to have to prepare for that. Neural Parasite on the way as well. A couple neural parasites on these Colossus. That'll be super effective. But there's the army for ShOOTER. He does have one Colossus in the mix now. A lot of Zerglings still here for MuffinMan, but mostly he is just working on upgrades at this point. Does have +1/+1 with the melee about to be complete. And a Spire just now starting. Let's go take a look. Where did he put it? There it is. Spire for MuffinMan. So it looks like he's probably going to transition, I'm guessing, into Broodlords. He seems to favor that quite a bit. Not a bad play here, especially since we are approaching the late game. +1/+1 about to complete there. Looks pretty solid. Oh, look at this. MuffinMan gearing up to take his gold expand here. Nice stuff. ShOOTER saying that's not going to happen. Going to deny this expand. That is for sure. MuffinMan tentative here. Doesn't really want to engage. It doesn't look like quite yet. And ShOOTER seems fine with that idea for now as well. But ShOOTER getting pretty close to having a maxed out army. He's got a lot of Colossus now. Well, not a lot. But 3 is pretty good numbers. And 2 more on the way. So he is going to have quite a few Colossus. We got Adrenal Glands on the way. Carapace level 2. Melee attack level 2. So he is definitely going to be sticking with that melee attack, which is great for the Broodlords, and he is getting a greater Spire as well. So the time for ShOOTER is coming swiftly. He has got to make something happen. Otherwise, he's going to be stuck in that same position that he was in game number 1, where he was unable to deal with Broodlords with just his blink stalkers. So I would say the time is now for ShOOTER. Probably going to want to move out here. And you can see that MuffinMan not building an army. He's going to be saving room for his Broodlords. Lucky for ShOOTER, this is a great timing window where he can make this happen. Look at that, MuffinMan backing out immediately here. He is going to have to do a lot of work to defend this. This is quite a few units. Look at that. All these Infestors going down, and there are still way too many Colossus alive, and ShOOTER doing all of the damage that I think that he needs to do here. Almost completely taking out that army. It is all gone, and there it is. Game from MuffinMan. Got to love that. Wow. ShOOTER will be going into the finals. He will be taking on our other semifinalist, or other finalist, I should say, who is Giraffe. That is going to be a phenomenal matchup. It will be best of 5. We will see you guys there in just a bit. And remember, don't alt-tab, always alt-StarCraft. We will see you then.